DIY grow light shelf for under $100. Let's go. So I got this shelf at Goodwill for $24 plus tax, and I wanted to have a grow light. Well, I was looking at Garden Supply, and here's their website. I really could not afford that right now. And so I thought, well, let me see if I can build my own. There's lots of beautiful shelves here, and I really hope to have one or two or three one day. But as of right now, we're doing a DIY, and I'm okay with that. I like doing things myself and using my own hands and my own creativity. So the first thing I had to do was research lights. And so I went on and did some research on lights, spectrum, what's important, what's not. And I found these on Amazon. I knew that I needed nothing bigger than 2 foot long. And so I was looking for that. This happened to be a 6-pack. I didn't really need a 6-pack. I only had the 4 shelves, but I figured maybe one day, or if I needed extra space somewhere or whatever. These all come in different colors. I chose pink. You do not have to choose pink. But I knew that it had to be a high blue and a high red in the spectrum, and so I chose this one specifically because for growing seedlings, that's what you want. And also they have lots of different ways to hang, as you can see there. Lots of ways to hang that up. You'll see a little bit more of that later. You can see here that there is the yellow and the white in different sizes and different quantities. You pick whatever you need, but the ones that I got here were the $59.99. And so that was my $60 plus tax fee for that. And so when the box came in, I pulled everything out and took a look at everything, made sure everything was there, first of all, and kind of got familiar with the product and how I was going to be using it, although I already had a pretty good idea. So the lights come all bundled up just like this, and they also have the reflector guards on them as well. And so I did end up installing these reflector guards. And then once I got everything on the shelf, I realized that it was a little harmful than good, because they were some of my plants on the edges were not getting enough light, and I didn't like that. So I did end up taking mine off. But if you are in a concentrated area, then you probably will be okay to leave those on. So here is all the instructions. And so obviously it goes through the beginning parts, but then it starts going through what you're actually going to install. So that's the clips, the same clips that I used, but that's if you're going to tie them up by a rope to the ceiling or something like that, or just using the rope method for these particular clips. And they have little holes at the top, and so but they also give you the zip ties. They don't give you the rope, but they do give you the zip ties, which is the method that I used. This is also a sticky method. So if you were going to use a bookshelf to make your grow light shelves, then you could stick it with those little stick tabs, and that would also work. Here again is the where you could stick them into the wall. Or into the ceiling if you were going to go straight into the ceiling, or again into that bookshelf if that's what you're going to use for your grow light. And the zip ties that go along with those little clippy things, which is what I'm going to do. That's too that you can, those are the instructions for linkable, so that you can actually link these lights together. And then of course, safety instructions. Here's a screenshot of that. I don't know if you can actually make that out, but that is the screenshot. And here's all of the supplies. Again, those linkable cords there, and all the methods in which you can hang. So if one day I do in fact get the bigger, professional looking grow shelf, then I can use this for something else. Maybe put it in the shed or the garage or something like that and use it for something else. So I grabbed these clips, and I did clip them on. So you do want to Have a general idea of where you want them on the light. They do not slide and they are hard to get off, which is a good thing. You don't want them just falling off. But they do clip on, they're pretty snug. So I ended up using just 4 fingers as a measurement. And so that's what I ended up doing, and that seemed to work for me. And so now is the deconstruction of this beautiful shelf. This is a wine rack, as I mentioned. The shelves were too close together. I needed to take out every other shelf. I did not have a Sawzall at the time, and so I did have to completely disassemble this. Thankfully, it was a kind of a peg dowel method, so I just took my hammer and started whacking, and it really worked. And so I do have this kind of middle pose. There was nobody filming for me, and so I was kind of just having to take a picture of it every during middle steps. But as you can see, every other shelf is missing. There's about 10 inches in between the shelves. That seemed to work. That seemed to be a good distance. And so thankfully, my husband came home right at this moment and was able to grab that camera from me. And so when I went to put it up on the rack above, I realized that it was going to be twisted. So I just I just folded it under like that. I just kind of created a little tie there, and then it went in the right direction. And so that worked, and I hooked it on. It obviously these can slide on here, which I did not find to be a bad thing. If you need to move it to the side in one area. So I did like that kind of flexibility. So here's the first shelf installed. As you can see, I did definitely pick the pink light. And then here it is all together. I had not taken off those little reflectors yet, but as you can see in here, when I zoom in and get a little closer, that the edges are missing some of that light. It doesn't seem like it from this far away, but when you really get in there, you can tell, especially in this shelf back here, in the back there, you can tell, oh, on this one, it's very apparent that last little guy back there is not getting a lot of light. And so from a different angle here, you can really see the shadow that it's casting. So I definitely pulled that out, and this just came out beautifully. I could not have asked for a better outcome. It really just worked, and I'm so excited. Everybody's growing nicely now. Thanks so much, and I'm so excited to have you start your own project. Love to see them.